After the defeat of Jericho and the victory at Ai, the land of Canaan was no longer at peace. The footsteps of Israel echoed across the hills and valleys, and everywhere those footsteps were heard, fear followed. Word spread quickly from city to city. The God of Israel was not like the gods of wood and stone. He parted seas. He stopped rivers. He tore down walls without a single battering ram. Kings gathered their counselors. Warriors sharpened their swords. Messengers rode through the night, carrying warnings and rumors. The people of Canaan understood that Israel was not simply another army marching through the land. They were the instrument of divine judgment. Many kings chose to unite and prepare for war. They believed that strength in numbers might save them. But the people of Gibeon saw things differently. Gibeon was a great city larger than Ai, filled with skilled warriors and strong defenses. Yet even with all their strength, the Gibeonites knew the truth. No wall was high enough. No army was strong enough. If the God of Israel was against them, resistance would end only one way. So instead of preparing for battle, they prepared for deception. They chose cunning over courage, craft over combat, survival over pride. The elders of Gibeon devised a plan 1, built not on force, but on illusion. They gathered worn-out sacks, cracked wineskins that once held wine, sandals patched and frayed, garments faded by time. They baked bread and allowed it to grow dry and moldy. Everything was carefully chosen. Everything told a story. Not a true story, but a convincing one. Disguised as travelers from a faraway land, the Gibeonites set out toward the camp of Israel at Gilgal step by step. They rehearsed their lie. Every detail mattered. Any mistake could mean death. When they arrived, they stood before Joshua and the leaders of Israel and spoke humbly. They claimed to have come from a distant country, drawn by the fame of the Lord their God. They spoke of miracles done long ago of Egypt and the Red Sea, careful not to mention the recent victories in Canaan, which would have exposed them. They showed their provisions. Bread that was once warm, now dry and crumbling. Wineskins once new, now split and brittle. Sandals worn thin by a journey that never happened. The leaders of Israel examined the evidence. They touched it, they saw it, they reasoned among themselves. And in that moment, confidence replaced caution. They believed what their eyes told them. They trusted their own judgment, and they failed to seek the counsel of the Lord. Joshua and the leaders made a covenant of peace with the Gibeonites. They swore an oath in the name of the Lord, promising to let them live. It was a binding promise spoken before God himself. The decision felt wise. It felt reasonable. It felt right, but it was wrong. Only 3 days passed before the truth came to light. As Israel continued their march, they discovered that Gibeon was not a distant land at all. It was nearby. People they had sworn to protect were the very ones they had been commanded to drive out. Anger spread through the camp. The people grumbled against their leaders. How could this have happened? How could such a mistake be made after all God had done? Joshua confronted the Gibeonites. Their disguise was gone, their lie exposed. And they did not deny it. The Gibeonites admitted the truth. They explained that they had heard of the Lord, of his power, of his commands. They knew what had been decreed against the inhabitants of the land. And fear-deep, overwhelming fear had driven them to deception. They did not lie out of hatred. They lied out of desperation. Joshua faced a difficult choice. The oath had been sworn in the name of the Lord. To break it would bring guilt upon Israel. To keep it would mean living with the consequences of disobedience. So Joshua honored the covenant. The Gibeonites were spared, but their freedom was not untouched. They were assigned as servants, woodcutters and water carriers for the congregation and for the altar of the Lord. They would live, but their lives would be marked by humility and service. And so peace remained. The mistake was not undone, but it was redeemed. The story of the Gibeonites became a lasting lesson written into the history of Israel. Victory does not eliminate the need for prayer. Success does not replace dependence on God. And even righteous leaders can stumble when they rely on sight instead of seeking his voice. Not every enemy comes with weapons drawn. Some come with worn clothes and gentle words. Some come offering peace while hiding truth. And only the counsel of the Lord can reveal what lies beneath the surface. From that day forward, Israel learned that obedience is not just about action, it is about discernment. And wisdom is not found in experience alone, but in humility before God. Because when God is consulted, truth is revealed. And when he is ignored, even good intentions can lead to costly mistakes.